Hi, it's Sue. Good morning. Welcome back to my channel today. I hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. I'm actually starting this film on the Monday morning, but it's going to be one of those movies that probably I will film over several days. This is a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? You can see on my desk I've got a basket that I've covered in cling wrap, and that's because I thought this December I would join Lisa Heinzel and Barbara from 49 Dragonflies and work on their Dephemerember. I hope I've said that right. I practiced, I have to say, because it doesn't quite roll off the tongue. And I thought for a change I wouldn't do a Christmassy project. So this one doesn't have to be Christmas themed. And I thought, great. And the idea is to make ephemera every day for the month of December. So we'll see how we go. I may not manage every day, but I'm going to try. So now on my desk you can see I've got some fabric glue, I've got my basket, and this is a basket that I use really for sewing bits, embroidery bits I keep in here. But what I want to do, I don't want to make my basket this tall. I have this basket here that I keep on at the back of my desk with a few bits and bobs in, and you can see that's probably about 2 inches tall. So this one, I'd like to be slightly taller. So I've worked it out at about 4 rings down to this height here, which will be approximately 3 inches. We'll see how I go. I'm hoping that I can stop at that level and finish it off there and it works. It may not. Now, my fabric, I had this pack here. This has been sitting in my quilting basket for a while. It's a Moda pack tapestry, and pretty colours. You can see here all sorts, really pretty. So I thought I might tear some of this and use this for covering my basket. I've also got this clear fabric, and from memory this has been in my stash, and I used it to make a cushion slip that I filled with feather. And if you've ever worked with feather, you know that you have to use a fabric that is very tightly woven, which this is. So I'm hoping I can do a layer of this that will add a little bit to the thickness of this piece. I don't know. If this doesn't work, I might go and have a look in my scrap box and see if I've got some calico. I know I've got homespun, and I don't think homespun is any thicker, but I might have some calico somewhere, but we'll see. So I'll put that back for now because that will be layer 2. Layer 1, the first layer, I will use this fabric, and this fabric has to go on the first layer. We turn this upside down. Has to go on right side down. Okay, and we glue that on. If you haven't watched, and I will link one of the girls' channels so that you can see how they do this. Yeah, you just glue this on with fabric glue. Glue it all round. Okay, so I'm probably going to cut these strips in half. I don't want great big squares like that. All right, so I'm just going to go and organise my glue, and I will be back. Okay, so my glue is here, and I've added a little drop of water, not too much. I don't want to water it down too much, but I thought it would help spreading Oh, it's pooling a bit, so that may not have been the best idea. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't like that. See if that's any better. Yeah, it may well be that that first layer onto the plastic wrap would be better at full strength. Clearly need a bit more around there. Just this is going to be until I get started. I'll be paying a lot of attention, maybe not doing too much talking. This is one of those messy jobs that, you know, you hope in the end it's going to be worth it. I mean, I've seen other people's baskets. Liz from Buttons for Brains has done one, and hers look really nice. So fingers crossed. Might be better spreading this one out this way. I think you'll go through a lot of glue doing this. Okay. We'll start like that, I think. Now, next layer. This should go down a little bit easier because, you know, you're not going round the curve. Are you joining this project, or have you got another sort of Christmassy one in mind this year? Be interested to know. I've done the same one for the last couple of years, and I thought this year it'd be nice to have a bit of a change. We'll see. Okay. Next layer. This one's got a bit of a crease in, so let's try and flatten that out. I'm going to get in a horrible gluey mess here, I can see. I've already got threads all over my fingers. I'm thinking the more glue you get down, the stronger this fabric basket will be. So we won't scrimp. There's plenty of glue under there. There we go. And, oh, actually, let's pull that up. I didn't want these edges showing under at the bottom, so we'll put this one down and then that one over the top. See what I mean? Oops, pinked edges, I should say. Okay, pull that over. I've got to say, as a quilter, it's quite hard to cover this pretty fabric in glue. Oh dear. I might, because these are quite long corners. Let's see if I can tuck them down nicely. Just using the glue, if not I might trim them and fold them. I won't be able to resist getting my fingers into this, so I am going to end up in a sticky mess or a gluey mess. Alright, so that's the base. Now I'm actually going to let the base dry just to make sure that it does adheres reasonably well, and then I want to stand my piece up the other way to work the sides. So I'm going to leave this, and I will come back to you once this is dry, and we'll carry on with the sides. Okay, it won't be long. Okay, so I've started gluing the side pieces on, and because I let this dry off, it meant that I could sort of start from this top section and work down. But I've set myself a bit of a task because I don't want the pink side showing. So I have to sort of glue half down and then tuck the next piece in, which is fine. I mean, I get there. But yeah, that's the way I'm working. And this way I can literally start at the top. I'm happy to have that pinked edge at the top. That works out quite well. So yeah, it's not going too badly, she says, spilling paint all over the place. It's a messy business. But yeah, I mean, literally smooth on lots of glue. Be interesting to see what this is like. Can't wait to see it when you take the plastic, the cling wrap off. Right, so see what I mean? I tuck this piece under so that what you get is a frayed edge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just pull that down a tad. And then we'll add more glue under here. This is where you, once you get to the turning point, you know, the oval, because this is an oval shaped basket, you've got to do a bit of tucking. What's happened there? Okay. Put plenty of glue under there. Can't resist getting my fingers in there. There we go. So then we'll tip this back, ready for the next piece. And that will go in that way round. And I'm actually taking a bit off the bottom of each of these strips. Otherwise, the underneath is going to be thick, where, you know, everything goes over towards the centre. So let's get some glue on here. As I say, I've literally followed along with oh, who did I watch? Barbara. I watched her make hers and her basket, so I will link her video below so you can go and have a look. I mean, the person who everybody was inspired by was somebody quite different. Kristen, I think her name is. I haven't followed that link, but I might just to go and check. And if I do, I'll add her link too. I watched how Liz made hers, and that was really nice. I hope I'm staying in frame here. I'm so busy watching what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the camera at all. So at this point we've dropped down to about 3 rows because of course this winds round. So yeah. Oops. Let's just take a piece off here. Okay, so there we go. That's one round. And just checking. Yep, that needs to dry. And once that's dry, we'll put the second round on, which is going to be my plain fabric. So I will come back for that. There's where we're up to so far. Can't wait to get this next 2 rounds on so we can have a look at what it looks like. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, I've used the heat gun on this to dry it off a little bit. It's still quite tacky, but I think we're good to go with the next layer. And I've actually picked a different fabric. This is a thicker cotton, slightly thicker. And I've cut a piece, a sort of ovalish, roughly speaking, piece to fit right across the base. Yeah, and I also thought that I might, for this one, for this layer, try and work this way around, see whether that added any strength to the basket. Anyway, we'll see. I've got more glue made up here, so let's start. Now, I did add water this time for this layer in the hopes that it would be a bit easier to go on and still stick nicely. You can see it's a lot runnier. Okay, to this piece. Flatten that down. Now I'm going to do dressmaker's trick and just snip into the corners. I don't know whether this will make much of a difference, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, I think it helps, trimming up into that oval, where you turn the corner. It helps to get it glued down without too much bulk. I'll spend a nice evening picking glue off my hands, I think, at the end of this. Here we go. It's sitting on reasonably well. Now, so what I thought was to put this round this way. Working up towards the top. What do we think? Yeah, let's try it. We might start on the bend. Looks a bit like a plaster cast, doesn't it? I might trim this piece off here. What do we think? Let's see. By trying to get this nice and tight, I'm hoping it will help it hold its shape. Because I know that was a bit of a problem for some people. Okay. All right, so that's that piece. Now let's have a go at this front. Oh gosh, I think I might need to get some of this, get rid of. And of course this sticking to the glue on my fingers. Okay, here we go. Trim off some of this. Do. Now it's stuck to my fingers. I think that's good. So there we go. Just double check that's pretty glued down all the way, and it is. Now for this layer here, what I thought I could do, I'll use smaller pieces, probably, just, let me see if I can go, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to make sure the glue goes over the edge. This time, what I might have to do is trim down at the top in a few spots, particularly around here. That's it. I want this layer to sit reasonably tidily so that the top layer doesn't look overly bulky. And I'm going to let this layer dry well before I put the top layer on. There we are. So this needs to dry before we can get the last coat on, which is the third coat for me. So I'll see what I can do. If I can use the glue gun to dry it off a bit, I will. And we'll try and get this last coat on. I need more glue. And I need to wash my hands, get rid of my gluey fingers. So that's how it looks at the moment. Okay. And I'll be back shortly. Okay. Okay, so I've dried it. Still a bit tacky. Just around here. That's okay, I think it's good enough now to start gluing. And my final layer, I want to glue on this way. And I'm going to do the sides first. And my plan at the moment is to do the base last. Okay, and I've picked this as the front, and I want these pieces on right at the front, and I'll explain why. Here we go. On this one, I've got this lovely big flower, and I plan to fussy cut that and glue that to the front. Probably a bit like that. Okay. So I want it on a reasonably plainish background. It could have been a darker background. Could have just as easily been that one. Let's have a look. Yeah. What else have I got? Could have. Maybe I'll go take this one off and go this way. And then that flower will go on. Yeah, I think that's the way. All right, so I've made up some more glue. Definitely going through the glue here. But I did whiz out and get some more, so I'm good to go. Right, this is the front. So let's start adding glue. And then I will leave this to dry overnight and come back to it tomorrow to finish off. Pull this. And I still want that pinked edge at the top. Get a bit of paint on, a bit of glue on there. And I am gluing over the top, but I don't know that you really need to for this layer. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember whether the girls did or not. So, we'll go for broke and do it. And then if it feels a bit sticky, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, this is quite a thin strip. I decided that the thinner strips were better for going round the turn at the ends here. So we'll see how that works. Plenty of glue, she says. Misses that very top piece. better. I'm debating whether or not to put handles on. I was going to glue them underneath this last layer, but I think if I put them on, I'll do the same as Barbara and use eyelets. Yeah, we'll see. See how this looks when it's finished. Got glue there. Okay. So, might speed this next bit up and come back when the final piece is in place. Okay, so that just leaves that area on the bottom. Does that piece fit? It does. Just pink the edges carefully because it's a close fit, and I think that will be enough for the base, because with the wrapping round the sides and so on, the base is quite thick. Yep, perfect. Now this really needs to dry well overnight. Just go once more around the very top. There we are. Now I'm going to leave that to dry overnight, and then we will attempt to take it off the basket and finish it off. And I think I'll wait before I put the flower on the front. Yeah, I'll definitely wait for that. Just make sure that's all stuck down. Yep. Okay, sorry, I was holding it up to my face. There it is, all glued. It's a real gluey mess. It'll be a very colourful basket. And once it's dry tomorrow, we'll finish it off and see how it looks. Okay, Yeah, I'm just going to pause this video so it'll complete in one whole video. So I don't want to have to spread it over two. And we'll complete it. Okay, thanks so much. See you in a bit. Hi, okay, so it's the next morning. It's been sitting on my desk overnight, so I'm assuming it's pretty dry. I'm quite excited to take it off the original basket, but I was just, can you hear that? Mine feels quite hard, and I don't know whether that's right. I might have added too much glue, but I'm hoping that at least then it means it's going to be a bit sturdy. I fussy cut using pinking shears the flower image on that one piece of fabric, and I've added that on what I think is the front of mine. And I've also stitched a couple of pieces of fabric to add on, possibly, I haven't quite decided, as handles. So I'll just pop those there. I've got some lace out as well because I was thinking I might add some lace to mine. Right, so let's see. This is the moment of truth. This is when I find out whether or not this post will go live. If it doesn't work, you won't be seeing this. Okay. So let's see. Oh, look at that. Easy as that. There's my basket out, not damaged at all perfectly good. And this is the new basket. Right. Let's have a look. Gosh, mine feels well glued. In actual fact, yeah, some of that glue is still feels damp there. So, I mean, that's worth knowing. The inside probably isn't completely dry because it was still attached to the basket. So I think, you know, I will leave mine a bit longer to dry off properly. I'm just being careful because I don't want to delaminate it. If you see what I mean. Where am I here? Yeah, I'm almost round. I mean, obviously in some areas, there we go. Yeah, it's still quite tacky inside. So, it's still not cooked. There we are. Just pop that out of the way there. Yeah, you can see it's very shiny inside, and I think that's because it's really not quite dry. So we will leave that for a little bit longer before we do too much else. But the shape is quite good. I quite like that. I might even try the heat gun on it. There are a few bits and pieces of threads around. Yeah, So what I was thinking was, I mean, if I put handles on, I'd put them on, oops, both ends, like so. And I'd probably do the same as Barbara did and add them with brads, as I said. But I've also got some lace here, and I wondered about adding some lace just around the top. That way round. And stitching it all the way around the top, just to finish off the top of it. Yeah, we'll see. See when it's dry. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dry this, or let it dry, and then I'll come back and we will finish her off. But that's it so far. And she's reasonably sturdy. I'm hoping it's not going to feel that tacky when it's fully dry. It doesn't feel that tacky outside, although I did notice that Barbara actually used some, I'm sure it was on her basket, she used some talcum powder, baby powder, just brushed it over, just to take off that sort of sticky feel. It's not too bad outside, but I'm just interested to see if it makes a difference. I can do a bit of trimming up there. But yeah, that is my basket. And if I grab a couple of bits, see, bits will sit in there quite nice. All right, I'm going to go and dry it, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, so here we are, we're back. I have stitched some lace around the top, and that went through quite easily on the machine. It wasn't too difficult at all. And also inside, it's still a bit tacky, but what I've done is, in order to put it through the machine, I actually brushed a little bit of corn flour inside. I couldn't find my talcum powder. I know I've got some probably in the caravan. But yeah, so that helped this go through the machine without any issues. Now the other thing I need to do is add the handles, and I think I've marked them there and down this end. I haven't marked because it's quite dark, the fabric down there, but we'll put this end in first. And what I thought was, I will let me work this out. I'm going to punch the holes in here and then punch the holes. Will I put them together? Hang on, I want them like this. No, I'll punch the holes in here first. So I'm using the spacer to try and marry these up. We'll see how good that is. There's one. And there's the second. Okay, now I've got to do the same in these. And let's put these together and see if this wonderful machine that seems to go through most things will punch through the fabric. Okay. There. Okay, I might have to finish that off with some scissors, but that's not too bad. Okay, I've got these brads, they're star shapes. Let's see how they look. I've got ordinary gold ones there too, just in case. And I might slot them both in. That's through. Okay. I just want to angle that a little bit. That's about right. Right, let's see how this works. Fingers crossed. Yeah, pushed it back a little bit, but I might have to go in with a hammer, which is often the case, I find, with these, where they're a bit long here, the shank. Let's just try that again. Okay, no, definitely a job for the hammer. On this one, that's better, felt that one go. There we go, that's one side. Oh dear. Now the other side. Yeah, again, I'm going to have to finish that off with a hammer, but that's fine, I can do that. So there are our handles on. Okay, how cute. That's the front. How cute is that? I don't know whether I'm going to use mine more to keep the ephemera that I make during December, or whether I will make a journal and just use the scraps for this. Not sure yet, we'll see. Okay, I could add more, don't know, but for now I think that's done. Thanks so much if you stuck with me to the end. I'll go and take a photo and get this video loaded. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye now.